Stargirl Season 1 review. This review will include spoilers. If you haven't seen the show or don't want to know spoilers, this is a warning. I will make a season review spoiler-free after this. Please note this is a review of the entire season, so it's quite a lengthy video, and I appreciate those who watched it to the end. Thank you very much. This show has been great this season. We got to see the hero's journey, something you don't see much nowadays. The cast is great. We have Luke Wilson from Wedding Crashers and Old School and Idiocracy. We got Amy Smart from Crank and High Voltage, The Butterfly Effect, both great veteran actors who play the parents to Breck Basinger, who is the star of the show. Breck Basinger, who is a Nickelodeon star from Bella and the Bulldogs. This actress really nails Stargirl perfectly. She is a great actress in this. She really pulls off the teenage girl turned superhero. We start the season with a flashback to the original JSA fighting the Injustice Society. It's pretty good, lots of fighting going on. We see Starman get hit with a death blow from Icicle. Luke Wilson's character is on the way to rescue Starman. He gets to him and gets him in his 50s Buick, which is this souped up car that can fly, but Solomon Grundy catches up to them and tries to smash the car. The car ends up crashing a good amount away from them. Luke Wilson's character, realizes that Starman's gonna die. He gives him the cosmic staff. We then cut to modern day where Luke Wilson / Amy Smart's new family, Dugan Whitmore family, is moving to Nebraska. Courtney is pissed off about the move, ignoring Pat at the beginning, so halfway through the episode, Courtney is bored and goes into the basement and she finds the cosmic staff, and the staff takes her for a ride. She gets revenge on Henry Jr., who earlier was a jerk to her in the school. The staff takes its own revenge and blows up Henry Jr.'s car. Courtney flies home with the staff. Pat's waiting for her, tells her how dangerous the staff is. This moment cracks me up because Courtney says, "I didn't do anything, the staff did it." And then Pat tries to bust her, and Courtney says, "Oh no, Pat, you have some explaining to do about this magical staff." She just totally turns the tables on him and busts him instead. It's quite hilarious. And he tells her about the JSA. Courtney later on takes the staff out again against Pat's advice. We meet our first villain, Brainwave, who has psychic powers. He knocks Courtney out of the sky, and he tries to figure out who she is in this tire factory. The staff shoots by itself and blows up half the tire plant. Courtney runs outside where she is confronted by a huge robot who turns out to be Pat. We have a rematch where Pat in the robot suit tries to fight Brainwave. Courtney joins the fight later on and almost kills Brainwave, but he is put into a coma. The first half of this season is Courtney learning about the JSA and its history from Pat, and Pat trying to talk Courtney out of taking on the ISA since there is no JSA, it's just Courtney and him. Courtney then takes the original Starman outfit and suits it to fit her. We then have our first fight with Icicle, where Icicle accidentally kills the wizard's son, whose dad is a member of the ISA. Later on, Icicle kills the wizard. Then Pat later on discovers the wizard's wife is also killed by Solomon Grundy by the looks of it. So Courtney is upset that the wizard's son died since he was the only kid who was nice to her at school. Pat takes her to the JSA headquarters and shows her all the JSA outfits and members that have died. So Courtney takes it upon herself to recruit a new younger JSA. We then see Courtney recruit two others, Wildcat and Hourman. The third is Dr. Midnight, who flat out steals the glasses and becomes Dr. Midnight. So without training or anything, Courtney gets her new JSA together to fight the ISA. Dr. Midnight uses the glasses, and the glasses tell her that the gambler is nearby, another Injustice member who is basically a hacker with a southern drawl who sounds very cliche. Think Colonel Sanders. So the new JSA has their first fight. It's 4 against 2, but actually it's 3 against 2 because Dr. Midnight is quite useless. So these two ISA members, Tigress and Sportsmaster, mop the floor with them. Courtney ends up saving Hourman and doing fairly well on her own against Sportsmaster and Tigress. At the end of the fight, they rally and Pat flies in on his huge robot to join the fight, and Sportsmaster / Tigress take off. We then discover that the school bully, Cindy, is also a member of the ISA. We are then introduced to the Dragon King, the leader of ISA, and Cindy's father. Cindy is wanting to be in the ISA, but Dragon King basically tells her she's too young, and Courtney has discovered a secret entrance into the ISA base. Cindy, who is frustrated with her dad, sees that Courtney is on the security cameras inside the base. She discovers an outfit made for her graduation. It's a armored suit with a staff weapon, so she puts that on and becomes Shiv from the comics. Cindy takes the suit and tries to fight Stargirl to prove herself to her dad. She nearly kills Stargirl. The janitor, who is the mysterious caretaker we see here and there, stops Cindy from killing Stargirl. We then have a rematch, which is pretty good. Cindy knows that Courtney is Stargirl, but doesn't tell her at first. The way Cindy tells Courtney she knows she's Stargirl is really well done. She totally messes with Courtney on that episode, and Courtney looks like she got hit by a truck and she was bedridden, so she couldn't really do anything. She was pretty scared. The rematch fight is pretty good. Cindy almost wins a second time, but Henry Jr., or Brainwave Jr., who doesn't know how to use his powers yet, accidentally shoots a psychic blast that blows Cindy and Stargirl away from each other. Then Dragon King goons take Cindy away into the sewers. Stargirl and Henry Jr. have a chat. He can hear Courtney thinking, and he finds out she's Stargirl. We then go to learning more about Henry Jr., Brainwave's son, who is learning to use his powers and understand what's going on. He discovers the truth about his mother's death. Courtney realizes she could use him and his powers and doesn't want him as an enemy. This causes a huge rift with Wildcat. The staff overhears who killed Starman, so it goes on its own and tries to kill Icicle, who freezes the staff and takes it. Henry tells Courtney what's going on. It's revealed she's related to Henry Jr. The JSA goes into the secret ISA tunnel to get the staff back with Henry. A lot of fighting goes on. Dragon King almost kills Stargirl. Wildcat gets the staff back to Courtney, blocking Dragon King. Henry confronts his father and tries to help him, but Brainwave explains to his son no that he's the wrong one, so the JSA tries to escape. We then have Brainwave and Brainwave Jr. have a fight. Brainwave Jr. apologizes to Wildcat for sharing her sexy selfies she sent him, and he tells Courtney that she was right to look deeper, that people are good. Brainwave then crushes his son under a bunch of rocks using his mind. The JSA escapes. Barbara, Amy Smart's character, sees the staff and realizes she's been lied to by Pat, and they have a bit of a falling out, and Barbara wants to leave Nebraska with Courtney and doesn't want her being Stargirl anymore. We then have a dinner where Barbara's boss comes over, who is Icicle. Courtney burns her hand on the cooking pot, and she goes to put it on the table, and Icicle grabs it with his bare hands. Courtney freaks out, tells Pat in the kitchen he's Icicle. Barbara emails Courtney's real dad because Courtney throughout the season thinks that she's Starman's daughter for some reason, and Icicle thanks Barbara for the dinner, and his parents speak in a foreign language. Barbara records it and translates it. She then realizes she loves Pat and decides to stay and fight them with Pat. The recording, when translated, talks about the satellite and their plan, and Pat says he's not sure what it means. Next, we are shown and explained who the mysterious janitor is. He is having mental issues and starts to remember who Pat is. He finds Pat in the town, asks him for help. It's a bit of a tough entrance, and Pat has to calm him down. We are then introduced to Courtney's real dad, who is a real gem. Courtney doesn't believe it at first. She then comes to terms with it, and the dad ends up hurting Courtney emotionally, and she realizes Pat is her true dad. Brainwave taunts Courtney at Henry Jr.'s funeral. She then runs home and gets the staff, but the staff won't work anymore for her. She thinks it's because Starman isn't her real dad, but Pat has a pep talk with her. He tells her anyone can be a hero. Courtney has a loss of confidence. She asks Pat and Barbara to come help her to get her confidence back, and the staff realizes Courtney is the true Stargirl. This moment is really awesome. This is the definition of a hero's journey. This scene was very well done. They showed Courtney's vulnerabilities, her loss of who she was and who she can be and who she is. Brainwave now fully remembers everything. The JSA is on the attack, but the school principal, the Fiddler, goes to have a talk with Tigress/Sportsmaster that goes badly. Tigress flat out kills the Fiddler. Tigress then goes to Courtney's house, tries to kill Barbara. Sportsmaster goes to Pat's garage to kill him. Courtney knocks out Tigress. Pat almost gets killed, but his son helps him out. And Pat knocks out the Sportsmaster. The JSA retreats, and Our Man is still trying to decode the book that his dad wrote. Pat says maybe the code is something your dad liked, try the Mustang or your birthday. Our Man decides to try the Mustang, and it decodes the book. After that, it shows there's a giant base under the school, the town basically, in the football field, and it shows the entire ISA base, all the entrances everywhere. Dr. Midnight, using Barbara's PC at Works, discovered what the ISA plans is. Now, I'm not joking when I say this next part. It really happens on the show. I'm serious. It's revealed that ISA's plan is a democratic political plan to use brainwave with the satellite to mass control people's thought to end global warming and give free health care. I have to admit this was a bit silly and it did make me laugh, but the problem with their plan is it can hurt and damage some people's mind who try to resist, eventually ending up killing them. So we cut to Dragon King showing Brainwave the mind control device that oddly looks exactly like what the X-Men use in their movies with Charles Xavier. So the Dragon King ties Brainwave to the chair and turns on the machine. All the grown-ups are instantly brainwashed and froze, and Pat is being told by Brainwave to attack Stargirl. They show him getting ready to punch her. Now we're at the season 1 finale. I have to say, this finale is worthy of being in theaters. It is one hell of an awesome finale. I'd even say it's one of the best season 1 finales I've seen in a long time. I mean, this finale looks like they spent $100 million on it. I mean, it's really something. So we're back at the scene where Pat's under mind control and is ready to punch her. He takes a few swings and misses. Courtney tries talking to him, telling him she loves him and he's her real father and he's always been there for her. Meanwhile, Dr. Midnight is fighting with the gambler virtually through the glasses. She figures out there are psychic blockers in the ISA base that can be messed with to free Pat from the mind control. So her and the gambler argue, and Dr. Midnight figures out to give his money to charity so he'll be distracted trying to get his money back so she can hack and turn off the satellite or figure out what's going on. So we have the epic fight between the JSA and the ISA, and it's really good. A lot of action. The ISA are overconfident and the JSA are scared but ready to fight, so they have at it, and the janitor, or is now the Shining Knight, is fighting the Dragon King. During the fight, Cindy, aka Shiv, gets let loose, and during the Dragon King Shining Knight fight, Cindy stabs the Dragon King through the chest, killing him, and the rest have at it. The gambler lets loose Solomon Grundy. Pat and his robot fight Solomon Grundy. Solomon tears the robot apart and is ready to kill Pat when Our Man punches him, and then Solomon Grundy flies across the wall. Him and Our Man have a fight, and then we cut to Wildcat, who's going after Brainwave. She fights a bunch of Dragon King thugs. Then the last one is revealed to be Henry Jr., who tries to convince Wildcat that it's really him. Wildcat then shockingly kills Henry Jr., who she realizes is not him, then turns into Brainwave, and he dies. It's Brainwave's dying. Stargirl catches up and sees that Wildcat killed Brainwave. She's a bit thrown and disturbed that she killed him. Then they see the satellite, and Stargirl flies up and explodes the satellite. This whole scene looks fantastic. This looks like a theatrical release. You could tell money was spent on this. I mean, it is really well done. The gambler tells Icicle to go and find Barbara and Dr. Midnight, so Icicle finds them in Barbara's office. He destroys the Google glasses. I have to say, I found this scene very satisfying. The Beth character and the Google glasses things was absolutely pointless and plain stupid. Anyone can use those glasses. Hell, Beth could have probably hacked or done everything she did without them. I'm glad to see this pointless prop destroyed. Anyways, Icicle takes Barbara to the clock tower and gives her his Democratic talking point speech, and Barbara says, I don't agree with killing people who think differently. Pat shows up and Courtney flies in and fights Icicle on the clock tower. She ends up trying to blast him with the staff. They both fall off. Wildcat jumps off and catches Courtney. So they land safely. Icicle hard lands and gets up and gets ready to shoot Courtney. And Pat's son hits Icicle with a truck and shatters him into a billion pieces. I mean, he's just rubble. I mean, he was just flat out rubble after that. I mean, that was a pretty good scene. They all then rally after a brutal fight at the high school. Beth is traumatized. She's no longer Dr. Midnight or Google Glasses girl. Courtney tries to cheer her up. The Shining Knight is off to find his horse and his other members from his and Pat's old group. We then see Cindy, aka Shiv, rumbling through the ISA base, what's left of it, looking for anything she can use to fight the new JSA. She finds a Eclipto crystal, which I looked up, and it says that this is a DC character that can inhabit beings, so Cindy most likely will use this to double her power, I'm guessing. I don't know. That's just what it said under Calypso for the DC wiki, so it's kind of like a reverse JSA starting up. Cindy looks to be starting the new ISA and is looking for supervillain items to use and possibly recruit people like Courtney did in this season. We then have a time jump. We cut to Christmas time and Courtney gives Pat the gift she had wanted to give her real dad for years. She gives Pat a greatest dad's coffee cup and Barbara is happy. Things worked out for them all. It's a very nice scene. They really know how to do an emotional scene on this show. I mean, that came off very nicely. We then have Courtney and Pat in his robot suit flying around on Christmas, and they land on a watchtower, or a water tower I should say, and take in the air and fly off. We then have an after credit scene that's WTH. The Shade makes an appearance, mocking the dead ISA poster. Starman is somehow alive still. This will stir things up in Season 2. That's the end of Stargirl Season 1. Now let's discuss the good and bad of Season 1. The good. Number 1, the hero's journey. This was really well done. It didn't start out with Courtney being Stargirl instantly with no explanation. She actually had to earn and pay her dues. The episode where she realizes she's not Stargirl's daughter and lost her confidence and got it back, and the staff realizes it, and she officially becomes Stargirl, was probably one of the best episodes of this season. It was just really awesomely done, that entire scene where she gets the staff back. Number 2, the acting is top notch. Luke Wilson is great as Stripe-C. Amy Smart is good as her mom. Brett Basinger nails it. She absolutely kills this role. She is the definitive Stargirl in my opinion. She pulls off the high school bit really, really well. All of it she pulls off really well in this. 3, the suit looks decent. Stripe-C, the robot, looks good. All the outfits on here look really... It's not like how CW has it, where they have those cheesy outfits. I mean, these outfits look like movie theater quality. I mean, the Dragon King, Stargirl, Stripe-C, they all look really high-end. 4, the villains are very well played. They're almost better than the heroes. Yeah, the villains on here, I was almost rooting for them halfway through till they finally, at the later end of the season, got with it with the heroes and brought their story up. I mean, it was... Those first couple of episodes, you were rooting for the villains there. Number 5, about 3% political crap involved. You'll see Courtney standing next to a diversity sign or wearing some SJW shirt that says "Don't hate on me" or some SJW crap. The end with the villains having their Democrat plan, i.e. global warming, free healthcare, was quite hilarious and stupid at the same time, but them using mind control to achieve the Democrat dream was a good plot twist, like Barbara saying she doesn't believe in killing people who have a different mindset of things, and Icicle going full Democrat. Overall, the entire season, there wasn't much politics, which is good. It was more story and zero preaching than what you would think. Now the bad. Number 1, Beth and the Google Glasses. This is my hugest complaint of the show. This character was very annoying. It came off as being shoehorned for Hollywood's fake diversity issue. Hey look, we have an African American here, everyone. Dr. Midnight should be more than internet glasses. The finale proved that when Beth didn't have the glasses, she nearly got killed. I really think they need to recast this character and do an entire overhaul of this character because the character is absolutely pointless and useless useless in a fight. You might as well have a CIA member join the JSA who sits in a van with an earpiece using a drone to help them, or the ability to call in a SEAL team or something. It would be a lot more useful than Beth and Dr. Midnight. The other issue is that Beth is obsessed with her parents and stole the glasses. She didn't even really join the JSA. She was shoehorned into the JSA for diversity issues or so. That's what it came off to me, in my opinion. And her obsession with her parents was really, really bizarre. I don't know what to make of that. The cheese factor, there are some very cheesy things on this show, like the episodes where Cindy and Stargirl fight. You mean to tell me there's no one in that neighborhood noticing all this? Sydney gets kidnapped into the sewer screaming. No one woke up going, "Who's screaming?" This is a minor thing, of course. I just can't believe that nobody was noticing this screaming going on in that town. I mean, I was like, what? Number 3, the cringe factor. There is a lot of cringe on this show, mostly with Beth and her awkward obsession with her parents and Our Man doing his Twilight impression, aka Moody Emo Teen. The scene with Beth and Luke Wilson at Cindy's house is probably one of the most cringe scenes I've seen in the show. So let's discuss Season 2. What can we expect from Season 2? Based on what I've seen in the finale is that Cindy is starting up a new Injustice Society of her own, so Season 2 will be a reverse of this season where Cindy is recruiting for the new Injustice Society and Courtney gets wind of it. This is all just an assumption. I don't have any insiders or anything. This is just my opinion of what I saw in the finale where this is going. So let's discuss Season 2 and the CW. Season 2 will be taken over by the CW. The CW is just a god-awful channel. It's not even really a channel, it's more of a SJW political activism movement. All their shows are flooded with woke BS and weirdo obsessions with people's sexuality and trying to make shows around that with no story. CW is not known for good shows. I mean, that's a fact. CW is known for their woke activism. It's why their ratings are in the toilet. Supergirl was great when it was on CBS, then it was taken over by CW and they flooded it with political woke garbage and went downhill fast, along with Batwoman, that Legends of Tomorrow show, and Flash and Arrow. They just have this weird obsession with ruining these shows with political crap. I want Stargirl Season 2 to be focusing on Stargirl and Cindy fighting, Cindy building the new ISA. It's that simple. We don't need to obsess over people's sexuality for 55 minutes and have Stargirl come in with the staff, and that'd be each episode. Thanks for watching. If you'd like this video, please give a like. If you like my content, please subscribe. If not, I appreciate you watching this video. Thank you very much. Hope you have a nice day.